Hey there, this is Mike from Acromedia. Added a few updates to the Urban Hipster Drupal Commerce demo site that I just wanted to go over. The first thing is in our commenting or in the comments section for both the blogs and products. Well, first of all, we added comments to the blogs just to kind of complete those, but we also revamped how they were done just so that it allowed for replies and actual comment moderation. So that's the first thing. The second thing that was added is, again, to the blogs, we wanted to show how the workflows worked. So that's content moderation. So we added that into the blog, and I can kind of show you how that works now. I'll start with the comments first. So if I go down here, I'll just go to one of these products. Let's go to the mixtape. If I go to the reviews, so we're using the comments for reviews here. On the blog, it's just strictly comments, but we can use the same system for reviews. So here we have some reviews that have been added, just kind of some makeshift ones. Before we just had a single level as well as like a rating. So we added the option here to do a reply. And as a moderator, I can see now like the delete, edit, and reply buttons. So let me add a new comment just as an anonymous user. So I'll open up an incognito window, go back to the site here, go to reviews. Okay, so we can see all the comments, and because I'm no longer signed in as an admin, I only see a reply option. Obviously, we don't want anonymous people moderating the comments, so this is just shows permissions here. So let's add a blog, or not a blog, sorry, a comment. Mike. Let me just get some quick lipsum, lorem ipsum text here. There we go. Paste that in, throw in a rating, post the comment, and we can see here a message saying our comment has been queued for review by site administrators and will be published after approval. So if I scroll down, go back to the reviews, anonymous users don't have the ability to post anonymously. We did that more as a spam thing, but also to show content moderation or comment moderation. So let me go back now to my admin window here and just refresh the page and open up the reviews. Okay, so we can see the comment here. The reason why we see it now is because we're an admin. And you can see there's an approve button here. So this would, if I click that, that just gives an admin a quick, an admin who has the permissions to approve comments to quickly be able to approve it just with the click of a button. The other place that you can see this is if I go into content, and then I'll go into comments. And here you can see that there's unapproved comments, and there's one of them. So if I go into that, this shows us that there's a comment here. Author is anonymous. Posted, you can see where it's posted, and you actually see the comment as well. So I can click on this comment to view it, or to go to the product and view it. So I can approve it there. Or if I go back here, I can also select it and publish the comment this way. So two different ways to apply these comments. I kind of like the front end approach myself, just because you can read it and see it ahead of time. So approve. There we go, comment approved. And it's now on the site. The approved marker is gone, and now we can just edit, delete, or reply. So as a moderator, you can delete comments if you had some junk, or if you had somebody that was cursing and swearing for whatever reason in your comment blog and you didn't want that, you could just delete that here. All right, so that's for reviews. Let me just jump over to the blog. And so we've got our first blog post here. This is kind of our main sample blog post. So I scroll down to the bottom. We've got a different share comment, just a different way of showing it, and then all of our comments down underneath. And you can see here that this is a good example of nesting. So you can reply to a comment, but you can also reply to the replies, um, and just start nesting your feedback. So that's kind of a nice feature here. And that's about it. So that's kind of an overview of some of the changes that happened to the comments. So let's now look at workflows. So if I go up to configuration, workflows, and workflows. So what workflows are, um, they allow you to kind of define a process of how content can get to your site. So we've set it up for the blog. Let me go into this workflow. And so there's two different things involved. So there's states and then there's transitions. So the state is allows you to put a blog in this case in a certain state. So when a blog author um, first creates a blog post, it'll be set to draft mode. Then when they're finished writing it, they can set it to ready for review. Somebody with a reviewing permission can then log in and view the blog, and they can change the state to needs work if it's not quite complete, or approved. Um, Somebody else then with a published permission or publishing permission for the blog can then log in and see that it's approved and publish it. Or if they see something wrong with it, they can set it back to needs work. Um, and that's, yeah, so they can fine tune whether or not it's finished or not. And then after an article or a blog has been published, um, it can then also be changed to an archive state, which then unpublishes it and keeps it in the system, but takes it out of the public spotlight. So those are the states that we've set up, and you can add new states. So this is something that we've set up just for the blog, but this can be applied to any type of content. It can be applied to blocks. It can be applied to, well, it shows you down here, profiles, paragraphs if you're using the paragraph template. Commerce isn't in here, but it wouldn't be difficult to build a commerce plugin in order to be able to moderate the workflow of commerce products, adding them to the site, that kind of thing. Okay, so you have your states, but then you can also define the transitions. So you can see here, so somebody who creates a new blog post, it just starts as drafts. So it starts from draft and ends in draft. But then for the ready for review state, you can see that if an article is in the draft state, or if it's in the ready for review state, or if it's in the needs work state, then in those situations, then it can then be changed to ready for review, because um, if it's draft and it's ready, then you want to obviously change it to ready to review. If it's already in the ready for review state, it can stay that way. Or if the blog post gets changed to needs work, then to bring it back to a ready to review state, we need this transition to be able to do that. So that's kind of how it works. You're just transitioning from one state to another, and this is where you can define how that can be done. So once you have these states, once this is all set up, actually, before I move on, you can see that this workflow applies to, currently we have it set to content type as being the blog. So it's only functioning for the blog right now. So the way the permissions work around this, so once you have your states and your transitions, if I go to roles, I've set up a few different roles, so blog author, blog reviewer, and blog publisher. To log in and see those roles, you can log in using just blog author as one word, all lowercase for username and password. Blog reviewer, all lowercase, all one word. Same thing, just so that you can create an article, review the article, publish the article. As an admin, I have it configured so that admins can do any of these changes. You don't have So like the super admin can do any of these things. You don't have to have a specific user role in that case. But just to show the roles, we've created these 3 roles to do to show those permissions. If I go to permissions, and then if I search for content moderation here, there we go. So this section here, you can see who can use the different states, the different transition states. And so we've got our, up at the top here, you can see we've got our blog author, blog reviewer, and blog publisher. So it's just check boxes for who can review those or who can use those particular transitions. So that's basically how you would control what users are able to do certain things in the publishing of the blog. And then finally, under content, there's now this moderated content tab. And if I go there, then we can see all of our blog posts. We can see the titles of these blog posts, the current moderation state that they're in. So we've got 4 posts that are published. There's one ready for review, one that needs work, one that's approved, so ready to go. And as well as a revision log message. So we can see, so people that are, if you had multiple people working, like if you have your authors and they're creating a blog, they can, when they save it, they can set a log message here as initial draft is ready for review, or it's a custom message. They can put whatever they want. So somebody who's then the reviewer, they can see this ready for review state. They can see that there's a message attached. They can read that. They can go and review it. So in the case of this needs work, somebody had gone in and reviewed it. Saw that the featured image is missing, so they made a comment, featured image is missing, please revise, set it to needs work. So now the blog author can then go back in and make that change. But there was also one blog that is ready to go. And so there's a message here by that reviewer that said this post is approved and ready to go live, just signaling to the whoever's actually doing the publishing that that blog post is ready to go. So let's kind of take a look at how that works from these user roles. So if I log in here again, all right, so incognito mode, I'll log in as a blog author, log in. So you can see that I have a very small user menu here. So I can go content, add content, and blog post. So if I were to add a new blog, then that's where I would start. So here's kind of our content type for the blog and all the fields that can be added. And down at the very bottom, we have, this is where our transition states come in. So we have save as draft, or we can mark it as ready for review. If I go back into content here, instead of creating that blog, if I just go to the moderated content, this user has permission to edit posts that are in a draft state, so I can see that here. So if I go to, let's say this one here, this needs work, example blog post needs work state. If I were to edit that, I could make whatever changes need to be made. In this case, it would be uploading a header image, as the message said. I don't have one to upload at the moment, but just for an example. And then once that was done, I could then go back down here. You can see the current state is needs work. I need to change it, so I can change it back to ready for review and save that. So that's done. You can see the revision log message is cleared out because I didn't add one, but that particular blog is now posted as ready for review. So let's let me log out now, and I'll log in as a reviewer. So blog reviewer, same password. All right, so now if I go to back to content, go back to moderated content. Okay, I can see I still have the permissions. I'm an elevated user, a bit more permissions than the just a plain author. So I can go into one of these ready for reviews. Let's go back to the one I added, or one I just was in. And I can see here again that that blog header image wasn't added. So I could say, please add a header graphic, something like that. And I can change the state back to needs work because, that wasn't done, and hit save. So it gives me a success message, and now it sets, we see that that blog post is back in a needs work state, and we can see the header message or the log message that was added. So now we do have a blog post here that's ready for ready to go up on the site. So let's actually add it. So if I just log out of this user, log in, and we'll go to the blog publisher user. So now this is another level up in permissions from the blog reviewer. So I'm logged in now. If I go back to manage and content, go back to the moderated content. Okay, so I can see here that there's this blog post here is approved and ready to go. This blog post is approved and ready to go live. So let me just edit that so I can view it here. So I can see, okay, yeah, everything's in place. We've got our categories, images, we've got our blog post, and states approved. If I wanted to, I could go in and view it this way. So it has a red background because it's not published, but I can just view it like it would be on the actual site. So I could say, yeah, okay, that's good to go. I go back and edit it and scroll back down, change to published, and if I hit save, that blog post has been published. We actually get taken to the post on the live site, so it's good to go. If I were to go back to the content and moderated content page, we can see that it's now published here, and the actual status of it is published here. So the moderation state, that's just kind of the moderation, like those states that we defined, whereas this column here is actually just unpublished or published at the node level. If I go back to the front end of the site and I go to our blog, we can see now that that blog post has been posted here, and we can read more and check it out. So it's ready for comments. People can add comments the same way as the products. Here, I'll add one just for fun. Here's a comment. Cool. There we go. It's a post comment. And there we go. In this case, because I'm a logged in user, I'm an authenticated user and not an anonymous user, and so it allows me to just post a comment without having to go through the moderation of somebody activating or approving that comment. And that's something, again, that's configurable. In this case, we wanted to have it so that only anonymous users needed approval to demo that, but authenticated users, so your customers or whatever, they can just log in and add comments if they wanted to. And so finally, if I go back to moderated content, if I want to change this to archived, say we don't want this post on there anymore, I can edit it. I can scroll down here and I can change it to archived. And so what that does is actually just sets it to an archived state, and it also unpublishes the article, so it's no longer showing on the public front end of our blog. I can change it back to approved through these states, so I can put it back to published, and there we go. So that's pretty much it. That's the updates that we just applied. So again, that's update to our commenting, um, making the blog a bit more robust. We've got a good commerce site. Now we're starting to add some more content type features, just since Drupal is a content management system. I need to add those things too. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and there'll be more good stuff to come. Thanks.